It's time once again for the Maple Grove City Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from Northwest Community Television, joined by Heidi Nelson, City Administrator for the City of Maple Grove. Welcome again, Heidi.
Thank you.
We've got a 46-minute meeting to talk about from June 6th, and also many notes from the city. Some big things coming up. It's spring, summertime, so a lot of activities going on. Get your calendars out, but let's start with the council agenda. Again, a 46-minute meeting.
Yep.
And one of the items on the consent agenda is some new staff people. Tell us a little bit about staff changes at the city.
Yeah, so this is kind of an exciting one. As you'll recall, the council did some planning. We held a strategic planning session in February of this year, and the council had a lot of discussion about economic development and their desire to kind of shift gears and create a more proactive program. And so part of that was the creation of a new position for the city, an economic development manager. Right. We established that position, went through a recruitment process, and last evening on the agenda, that hire was approved. Her name is Carrie Furman, and she'll be joining us in the middle of July. Right. She comes to us from the city of Vadnais Heights, but has great preparation, has her master's degree in public administration, comes from kind of a planning, urban planning, background development side of work, and just brings a great skill set to the city. So we're really excited to have her join the team. Going to be meeting with her a few times in the next month as she wraps up her work in Vadnais, but excited to get her on board and get going on putting together kind of the construct of a new economic development program.
Very good. Welcome to Carrie, and
yes,
we have another new person as well. Let's talk about Amy now. I know you talked about her at the end of the meeting, but the new city clerk. Yeah,
our new city clerk will start on Monday. So Amy comes to us from the city of Arden Hills. She's been the city clerk there for the last 4 years. Hennepin County is new to her, but the work of city clerk and elections isn't new. She spent time up in Anoka County and then Arden Hills, of course, in Ramsey County. So she's had the opportunity over the last few weeks here to plug into some of those Hennepin County elections meetings. Clearly that's kind of the biggest item on the agenda here coming up if you're a city clerk is the general primary and general elections that'll be coming up here in the next few months. And so she's had an opportunity to plug into some of that and get prepared for her new role here. But we'll welcome her to the office on Monday morning.
Fantastic.
So we're excited about that as well.
Very good. Well, welcome to both. Again, you'll be seeing them around the government center.
Yep.
Other items on the consent agenda, I know we have some development news to keep people up to date on. There's things that either have been on the agenda for a while and now are moving through the process, and some new ones. Give us an update there. Yeah,
so probably the most notable items, we continue to move. There's a townhome project at County Road 30 in Lawndale called Cambridge Park. This is kind of at that northwest corner of 30 in Lawndale. This developer had brought forward a proposal a while back of kind of a detached townhome product. There was quite a bit of impact to the tree cover there, and so the council encouraged him to come back around with something that had less impact to the trees. So this is an attached type townhome product that really helps to preserve sort of the amenities of the site, some of the natural topography and trees and whatnot. And so that one is moving through the process, continuing to move forward. Bottineau Ridge, this is the John Duffy development, kind of phase 2, kind of a workforce housing apartment project there just north of the existing building off of Hemlock there. So that one's continuing to move forward, and then the BP adding some pumps down off of Hemlock Lane just a little bit to the south. Two other notable projects that we have moving through the process. We had development agreements on the consent agenda for the markets at Rush Creek. This is the Hy-Vee anchored project. They're wanting to get going, so we're pushing as hard as we can to get those agreements done and through the process. And then also the Village at Arbor Lakes. This is kind of that fourth corner of Arbor Lakes area, that northeast corner there. And this is the Kelly Dorn project, that the southern portion will be commercial, has the hotels, a bit of retail, some office, and then on the north side is residential with some high-end apartments. So that one you'll start to see, they already have their grading permit, you're going to start to see some of that work happening here, and they'll get going on the utilities here as soon as we get these development agreements signed up. So everybody's anxious to get going.
Long awaited for both of those.
Yeah, long awaited here to get both of those completed and take advantage of the the construction season.
And hustling to get things done at this point so they can start. Will that mean possibly openings next fall, or what is their timeline?
Yeah, we're probably looking at that.
Okay.
You know, we're getting into the point where they'll get some of the infrastructure put in this
Sure.
year and maybe get some construction done over the winter, but probably those buildings start to see some openings next season.
Very good,
Yep.
yes. Hy-Vee has been busy opening other stores, so
They
it's
have.
probably a process just to get them all in line and ready to go.
They do, and from a corporate perspective, they kind of have a development queue that they've been anxious to get this agreement signed so
Sure.
that they can formally get into the queue there in their corporate structure. So
Right.
we understand the community support for this project, and so we've been working as fast as we can to
Very good.
facilitate
We'll
that.
keep you up to date as they move along through the
Yep.
process. Other items on the consent agenda? Any others to touch on?
You know, I think that kind of sums up the consent agenda items of note. We did talk a little bit about at the end of the meeting, but this was a consent agenda item. Jefferson Highway is going to have a mill and overlay, so you'll see some impacts there to traffic. They'll be doing it under traffic, but certainly some lane restrictions and shifts and whatnot. That's kind of a joint project between the City of Brooklyn Park and the City of Maple Grove. So that one will get going here in the next few weeks, but kind of pay attention to that. If that's your normal route
All
of
right.
travel,
Could
you'll
be a
see
little
some
different.
impacts up there. Yep.
Move ahead to special business then, and there was a public hearing related to a restaurant that people have been talking about. What happened to the old and what is coming in? So you can give us an update.
Yeah, so this one is in the fountains, and they're going into the space where Mongo's was, just kind of out from Costco there along the entry. This is going to be Hung Thai. It's a Asian restaurant, and they were in to get a beer and wine license. So public hearing on that liquor license. So that was good to get that one done. I'm not quite sure the timing of their opening, but
Okay.
they are certainly working as quickly as they can on that one.
And not a brand new restaurant as well. They have
No.
other locations that are up towards the northwest,
Yep,
correct?
they have a location in Albertville and Rogers. I think this will be a little bit more of a bigger restaurant type, you know, a little bit less on the takeout, a little bit more on the restaurant. Certainly you can still get
Right.
takeout there, but maybe a little bit bigger concept for them. So they're excited to get going on that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Another business to talk about is AutoZone for people looking for a little car repair. Now you have another option coming
Yep.
soon. This is up by the Menards area off County 30.
That's right, yeah. So kind of across the street to the east from the BioLife project. That's another new project up there, kind of the Walgreens, this one, and then BioLife there. So this, just a auto retail store. There's no service to be performed on the site, but pretty typical AutoZone store. So we'll see that one get started here this construction season likely as well.
Very good.
Yep.
You mentioned Jefferson Highway. We should just hop back a little bit, and I know we may touch on this later, but there is a map on the city's website that
Yep.
might help people out with some of these projects going on. Tell us a little bit about what that is and how that works.
Yeah, so that's on the city's website on the engineering page, and what it does is it's sort of an interactive map that allows people to kind of see where the projects are in town and what the construction timelines and impacts are.
Okay.
So as you plan your travels around town, we have some road reconstruction projects, somewhat more impactful to those neighborhoods themselves. They're not
Sure.
big through streets necessarily, but certainly, you know, what's happening with 610, 494, and now Jefferson Highway, those all impact people's daily travel. So our staff put together that interactive map and encourage people to go check it out.
Very good. All right, take a look for that on the city's website. You'll
Yep.
see that at the end of the program. Any other items from the council meeting?
You know, I think I want to just hop back a little bit about, we had a couple of things at the beginning, a donation from the Maple Grove Sam's Clubs to the city's DARE program. So that
Very
was a
nice.
great one. They donated $2,000 in support of the DARE program.
Very
We
good.
really appreciate that partnership with the local business community. So that was a nice way to start off the meeting. And then also we did administer the oath of office to a newly appointed police officer, Wilson Myers. And so that was nice. Her family was there, and quite a contingency from the police department.
Sure.
It's kind of a big deal when they come out of FTO and get sworn in as an officer. She's joining us from the city of Hutchinson, where she was on the police department there. So we're happy to have her as part of the department
Very good.
as well.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Welcome to her.
Absolutely.
All right, let's hop over to some other items around town. And again, hope you have your calendar out because there's a lot to note here as far as some dates coming up. And one of the big dates people have been waiting for is June 9th.
Yep.
And this is time for the Farmers Market, 13th season. Tell us what we'll see if we go there.
Sure. So this year, they have over 50 vendors signed up to be part of the season. Some new vendors this year, but also kind of the old favorites. They do a great job of pulling together kind of recipes to help people when they are buying different kinds of produce, how to take that home and make good use of it. And then they have live music every week there, so kind of a festive atmosphere. There's the frequent shopper program, so that kind of rewards customers for frequent visits to the market. And then the Pop Club, which is open to kids ages 4 through 12, and they get a $2 token to purchase their own produce from the vendors. So it encourages kids to get out, buy healthy produce, and kind of make that part of their life. So, you know, as the growing season continues, kind of the products go along with it. And so make sure you get out every now and then to the farmers market and see what there is to offer there.
And they are very high tech as well. And so I think they maybe have an app and they have a website and other things. So if you want to find out what are some of the musical acts going on or some of the special things going, you can go to the website and their app and get all that information. Probably even Facebook too. I'm sure they're out there everywhere.
They are, yes.
Let's talk about water in the city of Maple Grove from a fun way. You can play in the water here, and we've got the outdoor pool. That is coming up on Friday the 10th, so as we're taping this, not too long away.
Yeah, I know, and it's going to be a hot one too this
Friday.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing for the pool to open, because the last few weekends haven't been quite that great of weather. So the hours are 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and that'll go through Labor Day. You come in through the community center. You have to have a wristband to get into the pool. Children under 42 inches tall have to be supervised by an adult. Wild Wednesdays, that's a program on Wednesdays that starts June 15th, so the next Wednesday. Admission that day is $5, and then there's kind of a fun theme each week with special activities at the pool. So great opportunity now that school is going to be, I think most schools are wrapping up by the end of this week. I know my kids are, thank you. And so it's a great opportunity to get families out and kids out during the week for a fun event.
Great activities, and again, stay with us. More water news coming a little later. There's a couple other areas to get wet in the city of Maple Grove. National Night Out. It's hard to believe we're talking about that, but really now is the time for block captains and neighborhoods to start thinking about this. Tell us what that is, when that is, and why people should get going now. Yeah,
so Tuesday, August 2nd. It's always the first Tuesday in August, and it's just a great opportunity for neighborhoods to come together and really connect with each other and focus on public safety in their neighborhood. You know, it's kind of carrying out that old theme of if you see something, say something, and neighbors are probably the best, you know, folks that know what's happening in their community, and they know when something doesn't seem right, or you know, there's cars in the neighborhood that maybe shouldn't be there, those kinds of things. And so it's just a great opportunity for neighborhoods to come together. We had a block captain meeting just a couple weeks ago here, trying to get the block captains brought up to speed with everything that's going on in the city and kind of start the preparation for National Night Out. So if you aren't involved with the Neighborhood Watch program or have a block captain in your area, you can contact our police department. Todd Strigi on our staff coordinates that. There's still opportunity to kind of pull something together. So, and Maple Grove has a great tradition here of being kind of top in the nation for its National Night Out program. Hundreds of parties out there that happen throughout the neighborhoods. So it's a fun night for city staff as well. We get to go out with police and fire, and the city council goes out and get to meet a lot of the people throughout the community. So encourage people to get involved.
And maybe eat a little bit that night, right?
Yeah,
That's
there's always
part of the fun as
lots of good food at every one of the parties.
And hopefully something to exercise on. And some do go quite a ways and have bouncy houses and things like that. So now's the time to start planning and get those things ready to go. So August 2nd is the date, and we'll talk more about that as we draw closer. 2015 Water Quality Report. So this is something that is now available. If people have an interest, they can look at it where?
Yeah, on the city's website. On our Public Works page, we have information about the city's water system, and we're required by the Minnesota Department of Health to produce this report that provides information and results of all the testing that we do on an ongoing basis about the quality of water here in Maple Grove. So if people are interested in that report, they can certainly access that on our website. website. I think there was some reference material in the last newsletter too that directed you right to where that information is available.
Okay, and
Yep.
I would guess in a nutshell, the water report is good?
Absolutely.
Things are looking good?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, Maple Grove has kind of a unique situation in terms of the aquifers that we tap into, kind of the shallow drift aquifers, and so we have a good supply of water, but we also, you know, we have the water treatment plant, so the water is of high quality. We do have some, you know, concerns raised once in a while about the hardness of the water.
Sure.
Certainly is an issue here, but you know, I think the Public Works staff does a really great job of maintaining. The water treatment plant is spot clean. It's just impeccable in there, and that staff does a really good job of managing that resource.
So again, if you'd like more information, look on the city's website. You can find out more details about the water quality report. Volunteers are needed. Tell us a little bit about those with a gardening skill that can come out and help out the city.
Yeah, so we are always looking for folks to come out and help with our activities of maintaining the city gardens, mainly at Central Park, the Community Center, the Arboretum, and then West Arbor Lake. They're looking at they're looking for somebody to commit for at least 2 hours a week. They'll provide the tools and some equipment and those kinds of things, but it's really just about keeping those gardens looking shipshape throughout the summer season.
And is there a department that works with this from the city level? Who would people contact, or what would they look under to find ways to volunteer?
Yeah, so on our website, I think maybe just on the front page, there's a section that talks about volunteer opportunities, so they could tap into it that way. Yeah, and they can also just call City Hall and get connected to the right folks to help them.
Yeah, that's just one way. There are many ways to volunteer in the city. Well, one of the crazes of recent years has been pickleball, and the craze continues in the city of Maple Grove. Tell us about pickleball opportunities.
Yeah, so now that the summer season has kicked in, the courts at Lakeview Knowles Park and Central Park, there's pickleball courts there that are available for use. And then in the winter time, the new community gymnasiums at the middle school, quite a big pickleball league that plays there. So the outdoor courts, you might want to just give a call to Park and Rec and see. I know some of them are booked at certain times for leagues, those kinds of things. And they do have some classes coming up for kids. They're held at Central Park on June 16th for ages 8 through 12 and June 23rd for ages 13th through the 17th. And they do provide the equipment, and you just need to call Parks and Recreation or go on the website to register. So opportunities for kids to learn the program as well.
Get that new generation into the game of pickleball.
Yes.
It's not just for seniors, trust us. All right, Town Green, let's talk a little bit about the year. The season is kicking off here soon, and there's many days of the week that you can head out there and have some fun. Tell us a little bit about the nights they have there and some of the days too. Yeah,
so the season kicks off Monday, June 13th with the performance by the Maple Grove Jazz Ensemble. And then movies start on July 15th, so the movies on Friday nights. And then throughout the summer, there's over 50 performances booked, and so at certain days of the week, there's daytime performances for the kids to come out to, and then they kick off with the Monday and Friday routine and whatnot. And all that information is available on the website. If you just the Town Green section of the website, you can get the calendar for all those events. But make sure you plug that into your summer calendar and get out. The concession stand is open for these when they're city programmed events there. So food and beverage available for you there as well.
Yeah, great information out there. And again, those Thursdays, 11 o'clock, are times for the kids and families to get out. But Monday, Wednesday, the big nights for some of the music happening in those parks. Let's talk about the skate park. That is always a favorite for the teenage crowd especially. Tell us what's new and when that will be open this year.
Yeah, so really popular destination for skateboarders, scooters, inline skates, and BMX bikers. It's open from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. The park is unsupervised, so we do encourage people to wear helmets and protective gear. And then June 21st is the National Go Skateboarding Day, so I think they're probably having some special events around that. And our teen center staff kind of oversee the skate park there by the farmer, on the north side of the parking lot there.
So all around that community center site, many things going on a regular basis, but that's a great one for the kids over the summer. Tip from the police department about garage doors during the summer, something people often forget about, but they'd like to pass along what?
Well, keep them closed.
Okay, that's a good idea.
I think it's that time of the year, and I find this happening at my house too. People are coming and going at different hours. You tend to be coming home a little bit later with sports activities or whatnot, or your kids from college are home, or your teenagers are out and about, and
Right.
they come home late at night and they don't shut the garage door and everybody goes to bed. That's happened at my house, and so I think it's really important that somebody's checking that garage door at night. A lot of folks are leaving valuables in their vehicles, often keys in their vehicles. Is that service door between the garage and the house locked? Those kinds of
Sure.
things. And so real important to make sure that that door to the house is closed up at night.
And as we've heard over the years, it doesn't take much time for the criminals to do their work too. So even if you head to the backyard and maybe are doing something in the backyard,
Sure.
probably not a great idea to have the garage door open in the front of the house.
Right,
So
right.
keep that in mind, and more tips certainly for crime prevention on the city's website.
Yep.
It is time to start thinking photos. I believe things have opened up right now for registration for that contest. Tell us a little bit about the city's photo contest this year.
Yeah, so the photo contest is open and we're accepting entries through July 20th. And then a special program to allow for online submission. They're still kind of working on that aspect.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they're going to get that figured out before the deadline here, but
Sure.
that's something they're working on. And there is a paper packet available, and that can be downloaded from the city's website. So anybody submits these pictures. These are things that we use in some of our publications on the website, whatnot. So it's a great way to kind of get your photography noticed in the community and capture kind of all the special events that we have going on throughout the summer season.
Categories for all ages, and
Yep.
again, if you go to the city's website, there are the photos from last year's entry. So if you want an idea of what's been entered in the past and done well, you can certainly take a look there.
Yep.
All right, senior citizens in town, June 30th, the date to mark on your calendar. We have a senior health and safety fair.
Yep.
And I understand this is being put on in part by the fire department, is that correct?
Yeah, the fire department is certainly a part of it, and then
Okay.
it's held at the community center, so the
Right.
senior center staff are involved with this as well. But it really focuses on senior health and safety. So the program kicks off about 9 o'clock in the morning. The mayor will be there to welcome everybody that morning, and then also in the afternoon there'll be a panel of city staff to respond to any questions that the seniors might have. But they have a really great day lined up there for seniors in the community. So if this is something of interest to you, I encourage you to get out. The registration is required and can be done on the city's website, or you can call Park and Rec Department and they can help you out with that. Variety of speakers, they'll have good food giveaways, and then some vendors there to visit as well.
And again, a cost of $10 for that event. So again, do pre-register because you do get some good things throughout the day as well. Election season, it is that time of the year. Let's talk a little bit about Maple Grove specifically. Obviously, there are a couple council seats in Maple Grove up this year.
Yep.
But then also you'll be involved in all of the other statewide and national elections. Give us some of the important dates to remember.
Yeah, so primary election here coming up in August 9th, and then of course the general in November. But we're kind of in full swing preparing for that. Absentee voting for the primary starts June 24th. That's available at City Hall from 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. And then as we get closer to the general election dates, I think those hours shift a little bit to be a little bit more, cover more hours of the day for folks. City Council filing opens August 2nd through the 16th. There isn't a primary for the City Council race, so that's why the filing is a little bit later, and then that just flows through to the general election in November. So busy time of the year getting ready for that. We added one precinct this year over at Central Park, so some folks will have a change. So they're going to want to watch their mail for the cards that let them know where they're voting this year. So if you live kind of in that area over there around Central Park, north of City Hall in that area, probably some of those folks will see a change. So yeah.
And again, you mentioned no primary, so for the city of Maple Grove, it's all at large. So people should know that as well, as far as people looking, considering if they might run.
Yep.
It is at large, so no matter where you live in the city, you can apply and be one of those council members potentially.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yep.
very good. Again, a lot of information on the city's website. All right, I promised more water earlier in the program. Let's get back to it here. Weaver Lake Beach, tell us about that fine amenity in the city.
Yeah, so this just opened for the season. It's open Monday through Sunday, noon to 7. Swimming is allowed only when the lifeguards are on duty, and that's during those hours. There's a concession stand, restrooms, picnic area, and then there's other amenities at the park like tennis courts, ball fields, fields, basketball, volleyball, those kinds of things. But really a nice beach amenity over there.
Yes, beautiful
Great
area.
place to take the kids out too. And there's lots of, it's very wooded area, so you can escape to some shade as well if you need to. But yeah, Weaver Lake Beach is a great park to visit this time of the year.
All right, and the next water stop is Central Park, and you've
Yeah.
got some fountains ready for action there.
Yep, the interactive fountains fired up over Memorial Day weekend.
Right.
They're open from 10 to 10, and you can come play in that, and it's of course lit. So, and then there's kind of a light show that goes with that that you can come and enjoy, whether you want to run through the fountains or not. And that the skate loop is a popular spot this summer for inline skating, and there's going to be some classes offered there for
Neat.
kids and adults. And of course, you know, the playground is just very popular with kids.
Yeah, you were saying it's been a little busy here over the
It's
past couple weeks.
Been crazy. Yeah, it's been highly used. People are really getting out and enjoying the park. I've been there a couple times with my family over the weekends, and it's a busy spot.
Yeah.
So yeah, think about where you're going to park when you get there. There's parking kind of around the perimeter of the park,
Right.
along the street and whatnot. There is the parking lot right close to the Central Park building there. But you know, think about how you're accessing the park. There's multiple places to park that might not be right in that parking lot, which is getting
Perfect.
pretty busy.
Okay,
Yep.
good idea.
Yep.
All right, let's look ahead a little bit further into July. We've got Maple Grove Days coming up. The dates are Wednesday, July 13th through Sunday, the 17th. And again, the city is getting ready with lots of volunteers and the Maple Grove Community Organization putting things together. Any highlights you've heard of this year, or what should people get on their calendar for that event?
Yeah, you know, so we've been talking a little bit about the bed race, the
Yes.
Rotary bed race that happens. Certainly the parade and the fireworks, the art fair that goes on during that time. So I think a lot of the old favorite events, but a few new things as well. So great
mentioned-
time to be in town for that
And you
event.
mentioned parking at Central Park. That's something to think about. Also, parking around Maple Grove Days is
Right.
something to think about.
Yep.
And on the Saturday, you've got the shuttle,
Yes.
as in past years, and that
Yeah.
really helps out.
Yeah, so they can park in the transit station and kind of get around town to the different amenities up at the community center, town green, that area. So that helps move people around a little bit.
And a full schedule of the events on the Maple Grove Community Organization website, so you can look to that. And as we wrap up here in the beginning part of June, the session is over at the legislature, but maybe not over. So give us a little update from a Maple Grove standpoint of what has happened and what maybe you hope still happens.
Yeah, so yesterday was the deadline for the governor to sign the tax bill that was sitting with him. That didn't happen, so it basically dies there. That tax bill had some amendments to Maple Grove's gravel mining area tax increment financing legislation, so
Right.
we were very interested in what was going to happen there. Hard to say, I think, at this
Sure.
point. I think there's a lot of speculation that not signing the tax bill sort of brings everybody back to the table for a special session. Clearly, all the transportation and bonding issues were left undone as well.
Right.
And there's a lot at stake this session in terms of, I think the big piece here is, you know, what happens with the light rail investment, and I think that's what's kind of the hinge point. And so the governor has said in many media events that in order to call a special session, he wants agreement on those big issues before going back. So we're continuing to monitor that. We worked hard this session on trying to get some additional funding to complete the 610 project, all the other
Right.
connections to that roadway out to County Road 30 and to 94. We ended up without any specific language or funding in the bill. There's different programs that get funded to MnDOT, whether it's a local road improvement program or a transportation economic development program. Having those programs funded really helps us.
Sure.
You know, to be successful in going to secure those funds. So not only are we interested in, you know, securing funding for our project specifically, we're also interested in seeing those programs funded on an annual basis so that there's money there, whether it's for the 610 project or another project, that
Right.
there's a resource for communities to tap into. So we're continuing to monitor, hopeful that a special session will come together, but it's hard to say at this point.
Well, we'll be back together in 2 weeks, so we'll see what happens then, right?
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Heidi, thanks for your time again today. Appreciate the update. Let's leave you with some information here. Certainly the city's website right in the middle of the screen. That's the place to go for many of the things we talked about today to get specific dates, times, activities that are going on. You can get that there. Next council meeting is on Monday, June 20th at 7:30 at the Government Center, and phone number at the bottom of the screen. One other phone number, 763-533-1710 is our viewer response line. Questions or comments for the program, certainly give us a call. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the Maple Grove City Report.